Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a little chat about some of the insane prices popping up for discs on Amazon.com. You've mentioned it. In fact, you've mentioned that sometimes when I recommend something, it immediately disappears or goes out of print or the price goes up. This is a very strange phenomenon that we're watching. There used to be, I was involved in setting up Amazon's classical pages. Back in the day. And back in the day, what Amazon did was Amazon sold everything itself. It carried inventory. And when they were setting up their classical pages originally, they wanted everything reviewed. They wanted professional reviews for the entire world of classical music. Now, that was a tall order. And I was one of the critics that they hired as a consultant, to write capsule reviews, little 125 words, I think they were, reviews of everything I could review. Now, they had no idea what they were in for when they hired me, of course, because I simply took my entire collection and reviewed it one summer. I wrote thousands of these suckers, and they paid very, very well. It was quite profitable. It was amazing. There was money in those days. Money in the world of classical music. There was the delusion that these people were going to make money in the world of classical music. So all of those reviews showed up. Then things started immediately to go downhill. Then they bought the Gramophile. The Gramophile, as you may recall, was this package of like all of the gramophone reviews from the dawn of time, and they wanted to throw those up there too. Now, I got very upset about that. I got upset about it not because I think that gramophone reviews are largely hooey, even though I sometimes do think that, but I got upset because I said to them, look, you need to have a single point of view if you're going to promote these recordings. Having competing reviews or opposite reviews isn't helpful in helping consumers make decisions. Everybody knows that reviews are just opinions, hopefully informed opinions, but opinions nonetheless. But to have, to send mixed messages is just not very good marketing strategy. But they did it anyway, and they threw them up there, and it was a mess. I mean, it was immediately a mess. Sometimes they only got like partial reviews, and they had all kinds of formatting problems when they did that. And so the classical pages started to look kind of cluttered and messed up. But Amazon was still doing their own fulfillment, which is what mattered. They were fulfilling their own orders. And because they were fulfilling their own orders, the prices were fixed. First of all, there were still brick and mortar stores that they were competing with, actual physical places you could shop. And so the prices had to be consistent with what you were seeing at your local record store. And, that also stabilized the entire situation. Of course, Amazon tried to do a little better. There was a little competition here and there. But ultimately, the price was the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Budget discs were budget discs. Mid-price was mid-price. Full price was full price. So all was well with the world, even though the situation with the critic stuff was a total mess. Then, of course, I learned that they were going to have reader or purchaser comments. They didn't even have to be comments by people who bought the damn things, just comments. Oh, that pissed me off. Oh my God, that pissed me off. I despise reader comments. Sorry, folks. I really do. When it comes to reviews, either you have professional reviews by people who have informed opinions based on knowledge of the discography, or you do not. And there's no way to vet anybody who's making comments and you don't know who they really are because they're not using their real names. I mean, the whole thing is, it just becomes a free-for-all. And I think a mess when it comes to giving people accurate and helpful information. And that's just my opinion. Anyway, but they were still doing their own fulfillment, even though the pages were looking messier and messier as time went on. Now what's happening is that Amazon is no longer doing its own fulfillment. Most of the people selling classical music on Amazon are third-party sellers. They're used CD shops. It's wonderful to tap into all of these sources because there's tons and tons of product floating around out there, and most of it is, the vast majority of the classical catalog is technically out of print. It's no longer being manufactured by the actual labels. You can get some of it on streaming and whatnot, but physical product is sometimes very hard to source. So to have all of these third-party sellers out there is helpful. But there are no guidelines whatsoever as to what price these people can charge. There are no longer any guidelines as to what labels sell things at premium prices, mid prices, or budget prices. There are no guidelines as to where things are coming from. It used to be there were domestic releases and there were imports, and you had to get different things in different places. Now, of course, you have the world at your fingertips, which is nice. It's nice to have the world at your fingertips, but you have the same item can sell for 5 times the price in one place as another. And they can all show up on Amazon. I've seen it. It's absolutely nuts. So what motivated this particular chat and this discussion of, the latest insanity, I mean, it's not the latest, the most recent, the past decade insanity, was that I was on Amazon just looking at something, how they suggest things and whatnot. And I saw on Chandos, the Leif Segerstam Mahler Second Symphony, which is nobody's idea of a great Mahler Second Symphony. It's with the Danish national, whatever it was. He did the whole Mahler cycle. And it was selling for $115. I thought, naively, Chandos might be reissuing the Segerstam Mahler cycle. And I was curious about that because it's been out of print for a long time, technically. And although you look and you can find most of the individual discs from that cycle at fairly reasonable prices. So I thought, well, okay, maybe they're reissuing it. And no, it's not. It was just some schlub who was trying to sell his copy of the damn thing for $115, which is an absolutely ridiculous price. An absolutely ridiculous price. And, because it's not a very good Mahler 2, number one. And number two, it's 2 discs for it's ridiculous. Then I saw the complete Segerstam Mahler cycle. 1 copy available for, get this, here it is, $1,291.99. I'm going to say that again. $1,291. Yeah, $1,291.99. I mean, you could have knocked me over with a pin. It's completely insane. I mean, who would pay that kind of money for a not very great Mahler cycle? I mean, what is it? 15 discs or 12 discs? I don't know. I'm speechless. I mean, yes, it has some fine performances. I loved the Mahler Sixth in there. I really did, with the third hammer blow put back and all that. It was great fun. I wrote like an endless review of it for Fanfare magazine back in the day. There are some good performances in there, but that's not the point. Maybe it's the best performance in the world. Maybe it's the greatest Mahler cycle ever. Maybe it's transcendentally fabulous. Who is going to pay $1,291.91 for the damn thing? How does someone even imagine that number? Where does it come from? Is there anyone crazy enough to buy it? Evidently so. I mean, I guess there is. And just for fun, I have that page open now on Amazon. Let's see what the individual discs are going for, where they're available. And where they have a price, because you don't know. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They're just listed. Okay, so the Mahler Symphonies 8 and 10 is $62.59. There's a new one from $88, and there's 3 used from $45, and the median price here is $62.59 for that one. Symphony number 4, I see only 1 available, and that's $25. All right, that's within the realm of possibility. Here's Symphony number 6 with Totenfire. That's $53.04, and that's the low, because there are 5 used, and they go up to, there's a bunch of $65s and $69. I mean, oy, oy, oy. And those are used. Let's see. Symphony number 5 is $19.99. Well, there you go. And here's number 2 for $115. Number 7 and 9 are $85. Number 3, I don't see. Oh, that was boring. That's $120, starting at $120. Then there's the complete cycle. Oh, look, here's the Zubin Mehta Mahler 5 with New York Phil, which is fabulous. It's one of the great Mahler 5s, by the way. And that's $4.21. That's a steal. There's only one left, guys. Get it while you can. Here's Symphony Number 1. That's $16.99. And that about covers it, doesn't it? I think that's about does. Oh, there's another number 5 for $17.51. I mean, it's all over the place, absolutely all over the place. But that $1,291.91 here, it just blew me away. The funny thing, of course, is you can get all of them on individual discs for vastly less. I mean, okay, it would run you if you added them all together, you'd spend $200 or $300 or $400, right, to get them all individually. But you can still get them all individually for less than a third or a fifth or fourth of $1,291.99. I mean, the insanity of this is just really kind of hard to fathom. It really is. But the reason is because it's all third-party sellers now who are doing this stuff, and they're just using Amazon as a conduit. And Amazon just takes its vig for selling these things. Sometimes they do the fulfillment, which they charge extra for as well. But that's what's happened. And it's completely insane. And it makes no sense. And I just had to talk about it because, I mean, that number, it's emblazoned in my brain, $1,291.99. I will never forget it. I guarantee you that. So keep on listening, friends, and purchase wisely. I mean, not that I thought for a moment one of you guys would spend $1,291.99 on the Segerstam Mahler cycle. But boy, I mean, just the thought of it boggles the mind. Anyway, talk to you later. Take care.